Nobody else is really doing like a party like this, you know what I mean? And where you're curating these kind of vibes, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of different parties going on in DC, but this is probably one of the most unique parties I've ever DJed, you know what I mean? Because it's like, it's a sound, it's a different energy, you know what I mean? You got live drummers, live instrumentation along with the DJing, you know what I mean? And then it's just the sounds, you're not gonna get it anywhere else in the city, you know what I mean? People always love this party for some reason, you know what I mean? Because they can just come and dance, and it's not about, you know, what you got on or who's gonna be there. It's like, nah, we're gonna be there, we're gonna party, we're gonna dance, we're gonna have a good time. Just because of that vibe, you know what I mean? That vibe and that energy that's there, it's just, it has that, all you wanna do is dance, you know what I mean? So it's that vibe, you know
Well, DJ Rat was DJing at Club Tropicalia, and she introduced me to a guy that was doing all the promotions. And he was like, yeah, you can do a party on Wednesday. And I was like, how is Wednesday gonna be popping for anybody? But I took it, you know, because they had a great sound system. So the first party, it was ram-packed. And the owner was just like, yo, what is this, you know? So it was one of those kind of stories. And I did it every Wednesday for 2 years. Every Wednesday, once a month. And, you know, just packing it out every time. And then it got tiring, you know? So I started asking for Fridays and Saturdays, and they kind of were lenient and gave me a Friday or Saturday. So that's kind of the inception of it, how it got, you know, started. With me, I kind of like weird music, you know, like things, I don't like radio music. Like, I think a lot of people that watch the show don't even listen to the radio anymore. But I just got tired of like the same old, you know? And I didn't care if it was 10 people or 5 or 20 people. I wanted to put out that vibe, that ritual, you know what I mean? Like, we don't have rituals for you know, our passions anymore. We have rituals for things that we don't like, you know? So it was part of that. Like, that was the inspiration, you know?
Percussion is life, like the rhythm, like life is on the rhythm type line, and it just keeps going, just like your heartbeat, you know what I'm saying? That's percussion right there. So it's very important to stimulate people, like it can connect through them. Like some people may not know how to DJ and mix music or know about sound or anything, or even go to the club like that. But everyone has a little drummer inside of them. So it's always good to connect with them like that, because like everybody's a percussionist, like it's life. This is the best place for me to be a percussionist and then travel out and see other realms of percussion, but it is the best starting point for me. I started as a go-go drummer, so I already know drums, like the importance with it, even go-go sounding like African, and like it goes back to a whole nother story of like why drums is so important, because in go-go, if you didn't have the Congo drum, it wouldn't even be go-go. It would just be a swing, like jazz or anything. Like it would just be any other type swing tune.
You know, like, it's funny, man. Me and him have like a little inner competition sometimes, you know what I mean? Like, we'll be hitting each other up the week before and be like, yo, I found some stuff. He'll be like, yo, I found some stuff, you know what I mean? So it's like, we always try to like bring some different sounds every time. Like we try to make sure like our sets don't sound the same. You know what I mean? Like we're always digging for like new sounds. And Africa is a big place, you know what I mean? So like you got so many producers and DJs coming out like every other week, or every other month, and they're dropping new tunes. So, you know, staying up on that is a challenge within itself. But being able to provide those different tunes every other party is something special.
The energy kept changing with the people that came out. Like, we would do it on a Friday, it'd be different. Versus a Saturday, it'd be more drunk people. So I would hear that from like party goers, you know? Like some people, you know, would say, you know, I don't want to come tonight, I don't want to bring my drum because you know, it might get knocked over. So it was some negative feedback I would get. And then the positives were like, you know, we like the way the dance circle was created early in the night. So that blocks out like, you know, negative vibes, or they call them vampires.
Pick up yourself if you have a unclassified audio flame. Pick up yourself.
That's real important for the city too, like to just keep people like consistently like inspired by like good sounds and not like some of the other like it stuff that you see going on right now. So that's definitely that's real good for. And then this location, which is like U Street, Black Broadway, a historic place for like even street performers like me or anybody, is definitely good. Right timing. Yeah.
That's been our #1 goal, you know what I'm saying? It's to make you feel like when you step into Tropicalia, you're not in DC. You feel like you're in Africa somewhere, like you're in South Africa, or you're in Nairobi, or you're in Lagos, you know what I mean? Like we want to take you there, you know, because like when we hear those sounds, we want to bring those sounds to you, you know what I'm saying? So that's OkayAfrica, you know what I mean?
Pick up the water hose, posse. Everybody want it. Want it. Just go down and want it.
My name is Ramesses, and tonight is our 1 anniversary for Ritmos Raros. It's important because we've been doing parties for over a year now and slowly building up the tropical like, vinyl culture. There's not many parties that are dedicated to rare groove vinyl kind of for collectors. So we decided we're going to try and do something a little different than what everybody else is doing. I mean, as opposed to tropical bass and electronic dance music, we'll stick to the kind of older vintage stuff.
We're working really hard to try to preserve a lot of music that's come out of Latin America from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. Those sounds have kind of been lost in Washington, D.C. And Sir has formed a super group of people who are really passionate about the records that we buy, we find, to bring us all together and kind of bring it to the city. Because a lot of times, a lot of clubs in Washington, D.C. refuse to play this music. It's too old, you know? But he worked hard, he found a group of people, and here we are 1 year later, so it's fantastic.
Es importante para mí poder también conectar con la cultura latina aquí en Washington, D.C., que quizá ha crecido escuchando esta música en la casa de sus papás. Quizás sus abuelos, sus padres, sus tíos o en las fiestas familiares escuchaban estas canciones, pero cuando van a los clubs no escuchan esto en la radio, no escuchan esto en las fiestas o en las discotecas. Pero esa es una oportunidad en la que ellos pueden también conectarse con sus raíces, con los sonidos que escucharon creciendo.
I think it means we play kind of reaches deep people on a deeper level because it's something they never heard before. You know, it's like you hear it, you say, oh man, that sounds, you know, I know cumbia, but I've never heard of that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like something that's original and it's special in that way. You know?
I just always want to find something new. I mean, it's endless. I mean, there's so much music out there that hasn't been discovered or, you know, that I haven't discovered. And I always want to hear something else. I've been here for 26 years now. It's a great place to find international music, actually. I'm always finding international stuff in this town.
So I think that a lot of people is noticing that these parties are growing. People is more interested in vinyl and more interested in getting to know other cultures, more interested about different political topics like immigration, how can we all live together in peace, how can we all appreciate other people's culture. So they're more curious about it.
Tropical music is not just Afro music or Latin music. It's it's all people. It's all races, skin colors, ethnicities. And we feel like we want to be inclusive to all of that.
We wanted to do Guestlist because we discovered just a couple of European labels that we hadn't seen represented in DC before. There's a lot of amazing shit that's being put out all over the globe, and it sucks because DC jumped from being super underground to being super EDM and mainstream, and somewhere in the middle, the real heart of the underground got lost. So we thought the coolest thing to do and the most us thing we could do was just do our own party.
Matt, who runs Classical Trax, hit me up and was like, man, I should really do something in DC. And I was like, well, dude, we were like about to do something. Do you want to just like combine efforts rather than like competing and just do it? And he was like, yeah, super down. That's how we started.
Classical Trax is an unfiltered global club community. Made it to bridge the gap between people from different countries who like the same type of music, mainly club music. I wanted to do Guestlist because I wanted to bring the internet element into real life, and I teamed up with Paige and Marvin and Dan to bring it to DC.
We loved and supported Classical Trax already, and luckily enough, Matt from Classical Trax wanted to do a party here, and so one thing leads to another, and now Guestlist is under the Classical Trax umbrella, which is pretty cool to us.
I very much value community, and I think that's one of the important parts of Classical Trax, is that regardless of whatever the main entity is doing, we all get to know each other through or around that forum.
That sort of mentality of like, just like, we just want to help each other out kind of thing is what I really appreciate, because I've like been throwing events for like a really long time, and it's hard. You like don't really make that much money, so it's kind of like you got to do what you're really into and what you like want to do in order for it to be worth it on a more emotional level.
When I found out that Guestlist was something that was going to happen, I just wanted to help out and make it as good as it could be, lend my CDJs, lend my my LENG partner's sound system to make it sound better. Just trying to build something organic from the ground up.
We bought people from all over the East Coast just to come to DC because it's Classical Trax. So I think it's a communal thing that I want to keep doing and keep putting DC on a map where people want to come here because you know you can go to a bass party any night of the week.
We love music. I had the gear to host a party anywhere. So let me just find the most beautiful spot in DC, outside, and it's nice, and we're gonna do the party right here. We go to the club, we're gonna listen to hip hop, R&B, house music, electro, and all of these rhythms are like high energy rhythms. So the music, like the beats, very, very hard. So the way we dance, we're dancing with a lot of energy. And I discovered kizomba and zouk and all these other genres, and I realized that we can dance very sensually and we can just relax. And the way that social dancing works is, it doesn't matter if you know the person or not. If you love to dance, if you love the music, you're gonna wanna dance.
Everything you learn. Turn your lights down low.
When we share our event on Facebook, we reach a lot of people, and since the place is so beautiful, the people, the music, anybody gets interested, and they come out and they learn what it's all about, and we do our lesson to get people up to speed about what dances are here. So we don't teach too much like salsa and bachata because there's a lot of places to learn that. We focus mainly on kizomba and Brazilian zouk.
Zouk is more of an expression. So when I first found Zouk, it was through the International Flash Mob. And that's how I fell in love with the actual dance of Zouk. And I see that salsa and bachata and other dances are saturated, and Zouk is pretty much new. So it just looks like something that I really want to get into. With Zouk, it's more of an expression, musicality. There's so many different kinds of songs you can dance, Zouk to, but salsa is limited to only salsa songs, and bachata is limited to bachata songs. So with Zouk, you can pretty much dance to anything. Lyrical music, acoustic, things that are like acapellas, just things like that. So more of an expression. So you can do a lot more with Zouk.
It's a small community. Most of the events around this area, including mine, have about, between 40 to like 70 people. And the general thing about, dancers is that they love to dance, and sometimes drinking like messes up their game. So we're not the ideal customers for bars and restaurants, that kind of thing. So we had to find a place to get together because we have to get together. It's like an internal pain that develops the more time that passes when we don't dance. So that's why we're here every week. And this is a very special place. Nothing like it.
You see all the same people, all the same faces, which is really nice. It's like a familiar family. There's a lot of great, talented dance teams also locally, with a lot of awesome teachers and rising stars. So it's really exciting to become friends and family with everybody, and then even see your friends and family like move on and up into teaching or instructing or whatever the case is.
And we have a really small scene here, but at the same time, we have a lot of different organizers. Like Ocho, he's been doing Kizz Me DC for a long time, and it's been going great. Last year was amazing. This is the second year. People love coming out here. It's a great event, and it's one of the reasons I come here all the time.
It's about the just coming together, and everybody from all different ages and backgrounds, everybody can come together over this passion of dancing. And if you're open-minded, then it goes from bachata, salsa, zouk, kizomba, all of that.